stuff in bike racing. That was always fun.
In bike racing. And now it says live. So due to technical difficulties, we were going to make Brent be the host this week, but apparently I will still do it.
You jumped the gun.
Welcome to Delusions of Automotive Grandeur, otherwise known as DAG Show. As Charlie once coined, no pun intended, if you're really good to us, we'll give you DAGGold. I only know that because I had to edit the fucking the audio podcast like for hours on end, and you made that joke. I did laugh pretty much every time because we were talking about like what we would give our viewers, and you're like, we give them DAGGold, and I was like, we need that. We need a currency, man. Be the only show with a currency and 13 followers.
Hey,
I would say paper bag with crap in it.
Yeah, okay. It's a flaming bag of shit.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, so everyone's
just
functional.
A flaming bag of shit on your doorstep.
It's either that or a dumpster fire. I mean, like,
I'm starting to think.
Well, that's all 2020 right now. So
yeah, so we're all rich right now. It's great.
So have we all had like a really good week? Like everyone's really upbeat. Brent's wanting to burn shit on people's porches.
It's been a great week.
I thought it was Tuesday like 3 times.
Another awesome week.
Living the dream, perhaps.
Living the dream.
Of course.
Yeah. Well, I have a technical car story this week.
A technical car story. Do you
want
to lead off with that? Or do you want to ask?
Yeah, I'll lead off with it because I think you'll find it to be fascinating. It is a bit of Formula One. Oh, Podcat's here. You can't see her; she's backlit. It's a Formula One thing, but it's more of a technical thing. It's not like racing and this person did this and that. But as people may recall, at the first of the 2 British Grand Prix a couple weeks ago, the Mercedes were basically blowing tires in the last lap, and unfortunately for Valtteri Bottas, what'd you say?
They all were.
Yeah, there were several other people too, but in particular, the famous people were the Mercedes, and unfortunately for Valtteri Bottas, not only is it unfortunate that he happens to have Lewis Hamilton as a teammate, because if he didn't, he would be like a 5-time champion right now. But his broke right after he went past the pit entrance. He had to do an entire lap at like 60 miles an hour. But then Lewis Hamilton's naturally, because he's quite talented, but he also has a bit of luck periodically, as most drivers do. His broke like 4 turns from the end, and Verstappen was like 30 seconds behind, and closing, and just barely won by a few seconds. So you're wondering, okay, Stephen, you just promised you wouldn't talk about the actual race, and you talked about the actual race. So what are we doing here? This is what we're doing here. So there is a really, really, really cool video series, and I definitely encourage people to watch it if they're into racing, especially the technical aspects of things. It's not PR type talk, but Mercedes' official F1 channel, they have the actual engineers and stuff that explain things. And of course, they can't say everything because it's such a hush-hush industry, but they do actually get into some decent stuff. And one of the things that I found really interesting was the technical discussion that they had about the tires popping at the end of that race. And one of the things they talked about was the tire load, like in terms of like weight and downforce and everything at various speeds that the tires go through. And I made sure to write it all down because I was like, that is straight up Delusions of Automotive Grandeur content. And it's just really, 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 really interesting. So and I might convert this to colonial units as well. But starting with your European units at 109. And remember, let's stop for a second. Remember, a Formula One car, as I recall, weighs about 1,400 kilograms with fuel and everything for whole races fuel. It's not very much. And actually, that's probably more than it actually is. I should have looked that up. But regardless, at 190 kilometers per hour, which is 118 miles per hour, on a single tire, there is 2,866 pounds of force vertically on that tire because of the downforce. Remember, the car weighs half that at most, and the horizontal load through like Beckett's and some of the sweepers at Silverstone. I tried to say English like I said Silverstone, but I watched them. They say Silverstone. But anyway, the horizontal load is 3,086 pounds. And mind you, that's at 118 miles an hour. So, I mean, obviously in a straight line on one of the straights, there's going to be more downforce in the vertical. They must have used that particular speed because that's like the max speed during max vertical and horizontal loads at the same time. So you have rubber that's being compressed at 2,866 pounds while being ripped to the side at 3,086 pounds, and does this, 10 to 37 times per race.
Mm-hmm.
well, actually times 10 because they have more turns in a lap than just one.
Yep. I was gonna say I don't want to throw out a few corrections there, but it is less than 1,000 kilos for F1
For the car.
It's like, it's like less than 800.
I think I was thinking of pounds, like it's like 1,400 pounds or something.
Yeah, you converted it. Yeah.
I mean, we know these things make a lot of downforce. We knew that, but this is one tire. That's 1/4 of the downforce. If you think of the car collectively, not as like front, back, left, right, or whatever. I mean, that's freaking nuts, man.
Yeah. I mean, tire testing, it's like, I know one of those, like, again, like in my weird engineering experience, I have a little background in this. Even the loads you see on like any of our tires, like not not nearly as extreme, nowhere near as extreme as what an F1 racer sees. But the load forces you see on a car, on the sidewall, on the the radial forces, the left to right shear forces, the talking about belts and hoop stresses, the along the curve.
And is it centripetal that's trying to make it extend out into a donut or something like that?
I won't get into even referring to centripetal, but just like the pure engineering term of a pressure vessel, like the force trying to get it to expand or compress. Hoop stress is the along the curve part. But yeah, it's wild. There's so much, and especially because like rubber is, because of the way rubber behaves, it's not acting as like a single, like it'd be one thing if it's like a ball of steel rotating, and like that's a very easy static load, very easy to calculate. Whereas rubber, it's always dynamic. It's not, like I hate the word dynamic as an engineer. Like but it really is. It's always changing. Like it is a pain in the ass to calculate because it's like reflexing and flexing
and throw in temperature.
Oh yeah, and like heat cycling, and then like talking about like there's something I only recently learned about was like there's a way you can like heat cycle your tires, so you get like allegedly there's some like improvement in traction because it like wears them and basically aligns everything up properly in terms of the tire rubber. But anyways, it's a very organic substance. I mean, it is organic, right?
It is organic.
It's rubber, and we happen to vulcanize it with carbon, so it makes it a little less organic and a little more tougher to make it a composite. But it's still a organic composite, which is like completely like will start melting your mind. And there's reasons why like people get degrees in this stuff.
I know, and then you throw in stuff like the fact that it has steel bands in it, so you have a material with different properties. It responds to heat differently. And the fact that the rubber, you were talking about the steel example where unless it's like 1,500 degrees Celsius and it's melting, it's pretty much the same characteristic. But like tire, I mean, it's 15 degrees can make a difference in the flexibility of it.
Yeah, I mean, I can only imagine for the stickiness that they're working with, like completely like that's soft rubber. Like, I mean, we already knew that like going in, like that's always been assumed. Like even on their hard durometer tires, they're still probably less or more sticky than anything we could throw at it on a road car. But I don't know. It's a wild field if you ever get involved in it. There's so much literature and so much testing that is done that goes into like tire development. Like I've seen images of some of the stuff Goodyear goes into for their tires, like doing like actual life term cycling and like making sure they're if you develop a new tire, it can go like 60,000 miles. They have a machine that like tests it 60,000 miles, like, and not like just put it on a car for 60,000.
Do they have a machine that tests the erratic driving style of Mini Cooper owners?
Not sure. They may. I know.
No, they just call me in.
Yeah, they call
that test.
Yeah, a lot of live testing happens.
He goes to Sebring and just drives for 60,000 miles. That's what Brent does.
Yeah.
By the way, Formula One tires the cars are 2 meters wide right now, and the front tires are 355s and the backs are 380s.
Nice.
Oh, that's it.
And that's it.
I can
Only
fit some of those in the
380s.
Mini.
You could definitely fit those on the Mini.
Yeah. How much spacer would you need to get that under the wheel well?
Jesus.
Negative 100 millimeter spacers.
I have no idea. I don't even want to know.
That's like
I think he meant he could carry them on the roof, Charlie, not actually install them.
Okay.
Oh, I wonder if I can find it. I have a friend that covered one of the car shows. I think it was down in Richmond or whatever.
Mhm.
And he had a photo. I think it was from a couple years back. Photo of a stance car, right?
Mhm.
And literally there was spacers on top of spacers.
Nice.
And I'm talking probably 5 deep on each side, if I remember correctly. Yeah, right here.
I'm actually pulling up my
God,
trying to see if I caught any of the
that's
my old photos of some. Speaking of minis, I my brain went from minis to TCR.
Like, look at that. Let's see, 1, 2,
Holy
3,
crap.
4
Wow.
on there.
and a simple one piston caliper brake to stop it all.
Yeah.
Just think how much that all that metal weighs.
Yeah, exactly.
It's so
right.
much. It's so
Like,
much.
It was a Honda Accord, it looks like.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
That's like
Stance kids.
man, I was watching what was it? I was watching one of the Hoonigans. They're doing donks on their build specials right now, which
I saw that.
it's so good. Please go watch it. There's a special place coming from Hampton Roads. There's a special place in my heart for like all lowriders and donks and like square bodies, everything. And yeah, there's something good about it. Like big silly rims, like yes, please.
I love it on 80s like square cars like
Oh,
Crown
yeah.
Victorias and LTDs and things like that.
Oh,
Or
yeah,
Dodge
I mean,
Diplomats, the crazy,
yeah.
that's a rare one.
They're
I
doing it
would say
on
that's
a
the usual
yeah, that's the
style
usual
that they do it.
square
I see
body.
late model Camaros too.
I prefer the Malaise
Really?
era to be proper to the culture.
And Charlie, back to tires just very briefly. Remember
Yeah.
the YouTube video I think I texted you guys that someone mounted a GoPro inside of a rim?
Oh yeah, it was
You could
making
just
the
see the
rounds.
tire squish in the rhythm, and I just didn't realize they deflected so. I mean, I realized they deflected that much because every one of us has walked out of our tire and been like, "Is that low?" And you check it, and it's not.
Yeah. One of my projects involved a coating for a tire, and we were very surprised to see it experience a lot of disbondment right in the center of the tire. So like if your tire wall is this tall, I'm holding up the width of my fingers for all the audio folk. Right in the middle is where you're going to see the most deflection, left to right or top in and out on a tire. If you think about, it's only going to compress and squish and squeeze. Like
it's the furthest from a fixed object being the road or the rim.
Exactly.
Okay.
So this, the center of your tire, whether it's, whether it's 100 millimeters tall or it's 200 millimeters tall, right in the center is always going to experience the most deflection. That's just how mechanics of materials works. But yeah, right. Even on we put these on a race car, and you could see on the center ring where the tires experience the most flexing, you could see the coating starting to peel off and deflect off of the actual wheel. It's really quite exciting from a material standpoint and not so much from a product development standpoint. But
yeah, it makes you a little sad. You got to find a new formula or something.
Yeah, it's one of those back to the drawing board situations.
Another interesting thing from that Mercedes video, y'all, is that they had like how like a water drop is an aerodynamic shape.
Mm-hmm.
Or like just the way it's shaped,
yeah.
Like I noticed on Formula One cars, I never really knew what they were. I thought they were just something to sort of calm air in a certain place.
Mm-hmm.
But I think they've been banned now, but maybe not. But on the front wing of like a 2-year-old Mercedes, they had these 2 water droplet looking things, and they had thermal cameras pointing straight at the front tires. So they had real-time video watching the temperatures change, and they could say, Lewis, in turn 4, back off a little. It gets a little pink on the inner side. You know, I mean, it's like, it's
Getting
a
a
bit
little
much,
zesty.
guys.
I mean, it's kind of brilliant, honestly. Like, imagine if you applied that to road cars. Like, you know, we talk about, you know, the reason why we implemented like the TPMS. Sorry, it took me a while to figure out what that word was. Why we have TPMS was because we were having low inflated tires overdeveloping heat and then blowing out because of the increased wear from the hot spot on the tire, basically. So like imagine if like now, think like Tesla has 1 million cameras on their car now, you know, call it 1 million, why not? But like how simple it would be, super simple to have a similar setup of, not only would you have Sentry mode, but you have like visual tire monitoring where it's like, hey, like you've been spinning the tires for, or like suddenly it's a secondary TPMS like sanity check, you know.
I got a Tesla sideways once. I was driving my brother's rear-wheel drive one, Model 3.
Yeah. Okay,
and it was very damp out. And I was like, David, so how good is the traction control of this thing? He's like, it's pretty good, man. It's pretty good. And so, like, you know, it's got instant torque, of course. And so I sort of got on it. And yes, the traction control caught it, but it did not catch it immediately. Like, I got about 5 degrees of yaw, and then it was straight. It was fine, you know, but it was just like
enough.
Yeah. So, Brent, I have a question for Brent.
Yep.
Seeing as how we're doing a tire show, rubber in its natural state, my understanding, is white. And if you look at and maybe Charlie can confirm that, but the very earliest cars had white tires. So if they have to add something to it to make it black, wouldn't it be cheaper just to make them white? And why don't we have white tires everywhere? Go ahead, answer, because I know you know the answer. Tire scientist.
What? I'm no tire scientist. I have no idea.
Hey, this show, I don't make stuff up on the show ever, man. You don't have to pretend. No, I'm kidding. But my understanding is that rubber in its natural state is Podcat's here. Sorry, Podcat. Isn't rubber in its natural state white? We got a nod, and we have a smiling. I don't know.
Yes.
Well, I saw a cattail going by. So
there it is. There it is.
Again.
Nice.
Oh Jesus! She almost knocked over everything.
That'd be a great sound to record on the podcast. Just your whole setup, timber.
Just
yeah. What happened? What happened to Steven? We lost him. He's gone forever.
And by the way, guys, again, speaking of round objects that involve cars, my G29 Logitech wheel, I decided to GTI Ben Kenobi, who ditched me the other night and didn't actually show up to race.
Dang.
See if he actually responds to that.
Dang,
we were going to place him at a Corsa.
Wow.
He might hide with his truck people at the shipyard.
Yeah, he likes the squatted truck culture now. He's going to do that to the VW.
Just Carolina squat of VW, just the back.
Carolina squat? Is that what it is? Is that a thing?
Yeah, I've heard it called that. Have you heard it called that, Brent?
Sounds like someone needs to go to the bathroom. But anyway,
I mean, that's what it looks like. So.
And so what I did was I was like, he wanted to play, and I'm like, well, I'm just going to rig it. I'm just going to attach it to this table I have, because I'm not working at home anymore. I can set it up here. And I didn't want to set up my actual rig with my old Mustang seat and everything. So I got a piece of plywood, and see the piece of plywood there? The desk is too thick to clamp it on. So I was able to clamp it to this, but of course that would just tip off. So I realized that if I put my monitor as far away as possible, it would counteract. So see, Charlie, you're not the only scientist here. I got physics, baby.
Science at work.
She blinded me with science.
I'm just thinking of the science, bitch. Breaking Bad meme. That's yeah. That's.
I was like
that's
the
all
Weird Al song, "White and Nerdy."
Yes, that is. I'm honestly impressed you haven't like made a very fancy wooden like full on like race sim setup with like your pedals mounted to a hard platform, and same with your wheel and all that jazz.
I need more elbow room. If that life adjustment happens, which I don't know if it will, but we'll see. Maybe, I don't know. And life maybe I'll happen. We'll see. And if there's like an extra room involved or something. I've been watching way too much Tested, and like Adam Savage from Mythbusters got bored, and he decided to make a foam replica of a cast iron safe and then hang it precariously with plastic chains over like his ceiling in his shop, just because it would be funny to have this giant safe hanging up,
Yep.
And
Very
it's
Bugs
inspired
Bunny.
me. It's inspired me to build weird shit. And I'm kind of thinking of building a poorly executed wooden replica of like a Formula One car with my G29 mounted in it.
I just want you to
The
make.
biggest decision is Halo or no Halo.
I want you to make a really bad Halo.
Yeah.
I want you to have a really bad one.
Like it's not round, it's just like jagged,
Yeah, no, there's no sanding, no nothing, just like
No sanding.
straight up with like the standard jigsaw, just like, and freehand it, make it real crooked.
It's PlayStation 1 graphics.
Yes, yeah.
We can go further back. Let's go with
No.
regular Nintendo.
No.
Yes, I'll make it pixelated. That's a style. Like it'd be like Minecraft, like jagged Formula One car.
It'll look like F-Zero. You'll be like, why are you playing that retro game?
I think it'd be really cool to have a girl come visit the house for the first time. She's like, "What's in that room?" "Oh, nothing." And I'm sure, because I only date the coolest girls, she would walk in the room and be like, "Why is the Halo so shitty?" She wouldn't be like, "Why the fuck is there a giant wooden car?" Because girls definitely dig it when you've been sitting around doing nothing because of COVID, and all of a sudden you have a second chin and third. What the fuck? I need to change this camera angle.
Gotta get lifted.
I'm get some Botox.
Nah, just get a run in every now and then.
Gone way off topic at this
point.
Gone.
Yeah, he's.
I'm just gonna.
We'll reel it back.
I'll just mount this here, and y'all can say that's me.
Yeah, we'll reel it back. It's fine. Well, thank you for that wonderful technical tangent that we've gone down. Now we talked tires, F1.
It's a tire show. G29 shitty mounting.
We brought up Carolina squat. No pictures attached because I don't need to share that with the internet.
I think if you Google that, you could get some weird shit, man.
Oh yeah, I've already done that, and it's like, yep, that's exactly.
Are you blinded a little bit?
I mean, again, like my Hampton Roads roots are showing through here. Love some silly car trends. Kind of hate this one, but like, I don't know. I guess like somebody enjoys it, so I'm not gonna. Not my cup of tea. I'll leave it at that. Like I'd rather
we have a comment from the rabble.
Oh man, what do they got?
You talking build a Stonehenge from Spinal Tap?
That would be the most recent comment, yes.
And
I can do that. Oh no, I know what I want to do. I think I told y'all what I wanted to build before. The craziest thing, right? No. I want a life-size. I want you guys to guess. What do you think the craziest thing that I would want to build out of wood would be?
I think
it's large.
I think you'd still have a whole interior dash set up to build for your Mustang out of wood.
That's a really good realistic guess.
It's been like what, 3-year in the making project situation?
11.
11. Okay, well,
Brent, any guesses? Because that was very wrong, though, Charlie. Very wrong.
Oh, okay, good.
No idea.
Life-size replica of the Trojan Rabbit from Monty Python and the Holy Grail.
Okay.
All right.
I was kind of thinking Millennium Falcon.
Oh. I don't like Star Wars. I've never talked about it on the show.
Never, not even once.
No, that episode didn't happen.
No, not at all. We were then promptly sued by Disney.
Twice.
Yeah, that's why we had to get rid of the battery cover for.
Well, Ben's it was the likeness of Jabba the Hutt too with the neck.
Yep.
Yeah.
So what happened with this show is that usually during the week I email myself stuff to talk about. I didn't send anything this week. The tire thing's from like 2 or 3 weeks ago. I just forgot about it because I can't remember anything anymore.
Yeah,
I have some fun conversation to bring up. How would you all go about? What is everyone's preferred way of selling their cars?
Oh God, I have to do it soon too. Oh.
So let's talk about this. Brent, you were probably the most recent one to sell a car and move on from that. How did you go about this? Were you one of the types who gets it fully clean and detail, pictured, all that jazz, and then like throw it up on whatever Facebook, Craigslist, or were you like, yo, I'm going to like Carvana, CarMax, and just like get out of here?
With the Subaru, I traded that in,
Gotcha.
so
Yeah.
nothing at all. Because I kind of knew I was gonna get rid of it, but I didn't clean it. You know what I mean? It was one of those things where we bought the new car and just like threw everything from here into here.
Yep.
Overall, and that was it. That was that. The Audi, I ended up trading that in, but I did take it to CarMax beforehand just to
Mhm.
see what they would give me.
Yeah.
And they gave me hardly anything at all. And
$5.
the trade-in literally was double what CarMax was going to do. So I'm like, I'll go your route.
Yeah. Yep.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I mean, what they did when I got the Subaru for the Audi, I think was fair for what
Yeah.
the car was worth at that point. So I couldn't complain on that one.
Gotcha.
On that side. So, but
Yeah, 'cause-
if I was to sell the car just like outright, I mean, I know you and myself would full on detail the car and make it sparkle basically and go from there.
Yeah, because the reason I bring this up is where the Volvo is now, since we've all been home for this wonderful extended amount of time.
It's called a
Volvo,
shit fest. It's called a shit fest.
It's called Garbage Fire 2020. We are thinking about selling the Volvo. It's only 22 years old. So I'm going to make sure to give it a beer first. And then I'll get a nice bath and clean out and figure I'm not taking it to CarMax. That's like sending it off to, like, that's like giving Old Yeller back to the pound and be like, you take care of this. So I'll probably toss it on Facebook Marketplace or whatever. It's been a while since I've had to do something like this. Like, I think the last time I did it was my Honda Accord in like 2012 or 13.
How do you find a notary amidst the COVID?
You don't need a notary.
Doesn't someone have to witness you signing the title over?
Nah, man. You sign the back of the title and like hand it over and like go.
Really? In Ohio,
Yeah.
you have to have a notary do it.
Nah,
Like,
Virginia is like the wild, wild west. Like, you have
damn,
the
well,
title.
that makes it easier for me, man.
Oh yeah, it's like, I mean, and don't quote me on this because again, it's been 7 years since I last did this. But yeah, so I think we're gonna go the route of get it all cleaned up, get some photos, and probably toss a new battery in it.
I have to do that. I have to do that too. Isn't that depressing?
It's so annoying. It's like, God damn it, I gotta go buy
Maybe I'll buy like a really good battery and put it in the Mustang and just take the Mustangs and put it in it or something.
That's an idea.
That's understandable.
If you can swap them, yeah, do that. But I don't like the current battery is like way too much for how I'm not gonna put another $200 battery in there.
But I have to confess something.
What do you got?
I have never sold a car before.
Oh,
wait,
well,
that's not true.
The good news is there's still time.
Maybe it isn't true. No, I have sold a car. I forgot I sold a 1967 Mustang once. Anyway, but I mean, honestly, like my uncle helped with that, and I wasn't even in the state when I sold it. So how did I do that anyway? Fuck if I know. So this time I got to sell the Escape. And 4 years later than I was supposed to sell it.
Throw it on Facebook Marketplace for like $1,000 for like double whatever you want, and hopefully you'll
get the lowball offers coming in.
Oh yeah, bring them in. I'm just ready. I'm like having to steel myself. Like I helped facilitate the Subaru sale for my father-in-law, but that was more like, okay, I'll like email this person and like I don't have to collect the paperwork, and like the only reason I was even involved was because it was like in my driveway, and I was like, please get this out of my driveway.
How are you going to do currency? How do you do that? Because like a personal check could bounce. You get like a cashier's check, cash
money,
cash, or do a transaction right at the bank.
Yeah, you can't really get to banks anymore. I think I'll just do cash.
Oh,
I mean,
man,
it's also
yeah.
it's not like it's $30,000 where someone can't get that out without getting the feds looking at you.
yeah. I mean, it's not too bad. It's an old Volvo. If I get, I'm glad to see north of 1,000. Like, it runs and is in decent shape, and like, I'll take it.
Great first car.
It's a great first car. I hope some teenager gets stoned and does not drive anywhere in it and just like turns the AC on or opens the moonroof and like hangs out in it.
Question: what facial expression do you make when you almost have gotten in a wreck, and hold it for 3 seconds for no particular reason, and go? Okay, thank you. Control Alt print screen. Oh no! Oh god! It was, damn it! It got the wrong monitor when I did that.
Good.
GTI Ben Kenobi. Speaking of trading in, the Mark V may be going to a different family member in the near future. So it sounds like he's doing like an intra-family trade, which is how I tend to acquire and dispose of cars. Is someone else in the direct family needs it, we just do like $1 and sign it over or something.
Yeah. It's a shame that it doesn't work well in Virginia. They're like, no, we're taking the assessed value of that car. I mean, like, granted, an old Volvo is like assessed at like $5. So,
what expression would you make if someone said you're getting this McLaren for free, and hold it for 3 seconds? Okay, I got it. I mean, have you guys done the thing? Charlie's is awesome. Have you guys tried this yet, where you look at YouTubers and the expressions they do? It's the dumbest shit. There's always someone going,
yeah,
like, just look at any.
Yeah, it's part of their job. Anyways,
full-time job for them.
Yeah,
they can do whatever they want.
Yeah, let the influencers influence. It's fine. Don't listen to them. Perfect. Nailed it. Great job, everybody. We have the dumbest faces.
Someone looks high.
It's fine.
Oh man.
Yep.
All right. I think we're gonna let GTI Ben Kenobi give us a guest topic.
All
right. So it's 20 seconds before he responds. GTI Ben Kenobi, give us something to talk about. Give us one sentence. This is your time to shine.
Would we make Carolina squat?
Just so dirty. It's dirty, Charlie.
GTI
Ben Kenobi.
Gotta lift the front end, lower the back end. What you got?
It's gonna be something with a GTI, I bet.
No, I wouldn't want to do any sort of hatchback.
Get the Red Bull minis with the little Ute truck opening, so you can open up the tailgate.
Well, what's the one that crap? What's his name? The one that used to work at Audi.
You're talking about Rick?
Yeah. Well, he had the two-door, the sport one, the two-door.
He had the backwards baseball cap.
Yeah.
The coupe.
Yes.
The Cooper coupe.
Do it on that.
Yes.
That would be interesting.
That'd be so good. It'd be the weirdest looking. God, I'm gonna have to Photoshop that now. That would be too messed up. Oh man.
I'm gonna book us.
Ben Kenobi says, "Why are used car prices so out of control in the States compared to, say, the UK?"
I couldn't comment on the UK part.
Do you want the? I feel like I went into this. I borderline went into this in a text conversation the other day, and I felt like it got too political. So without getting too political, I think affordable cars are dying and going away very quickly, and it has a lot to do with, I think, some income disparity in this country. And generally, the old cars are lasting longer, so it's a little easier to manage. I don't know. There's some like circular economy stuff in there. I'm sure that I can't.
Yeah, some of them I don't understand why. I mean, you're talking. Well, let's go on to Facebook Marketplace and see what's up on there.
Yeah, that's asking price. I mean, I think it's because people lowball so much. That's why the prices are so high.
For sure that people, are asking hell of a lot higher on there. But I mean, I was doing like a quick search for, WRXs or whatever, just to see what kind of was around. And I mean, there's an '06 WRX with 138,000 miles auto for $8,500.
No, hard no.
And that's what they're going for.
That's
Like even 5 years ago, same thing would have been right around that same price.
yeah.
No, that's not too. I wouldn't say too bad. And '98 Acura Integra for 2,500.
There's
Okay.
always that
I
with
think
cars. There's the trough. You know what I mean? Where like, I mean, if you
Yeah.
buy an Audi or Porsche, yeah, you lose 40% the minute you drive out the lot. But I mean, like,
Sure.
I'm talking about like the trough where like you take something like, I'll just use my Mustang as an example because it's just what pops in the head, into my head, and it's where when you buy it new, it's 20 something $1,000, right? And there's this point, and that's where my uncle bought my car in like 1988,
Bottom.
where it was the bottom. And this is in real dollars. You could adjust for inflation or whatever you want to do. That's fine. But like, I mean, when he bought my Mustang, my brown one, I think he paid like $1,200 for it or something, and you guys have seen it. It looks like shit, but it's actually very solid underneath. And you couldn't touch. I mean, GTI Ben Kenobi's been looking for Project Mustangs and all sorts of stuff, and all of the project cars are shit now, and they're $1 billion.
Yeah.
For modern used cars, isn't it normal for like a recession for used cars to have more demand, basically?
Yep. Yeah. There's that, and considering we are in a recession, or we're going to be.
It's called a weird session.
I mean,
Session? I don't know.
garbage fire 2020. But yeah, I think there's that. I think there's the trough. Like, there's that point of the trough for so many cars. I think no matter what, a running car is gonna be about $2,000. Like no matter
what.
I think no matter what, and I think maybe even like with inflation, I think that can go higher or lower a little bit, depending on what the market looks like. I think
Love
right
to
now,
get 2,000 for the Escape.
I mean, like again, like go for it. I'd say
I would ask for that price and then just see what you can get from.
I'm gonna ask for 2,500 for sure.
Yeah,
There you go.
list. I mean, yeah, exactly. It's basic marketplace gaming, right? Like you list high and hope for somewhere below. But yeah,
every penny that's going straight into the Falcon. I mean, for Falcon expense deferral or
supercharger
correction or whatever.
Yeah. I mean, it's just crazy seeing those prices on our side compared to what there are in the UK.
Yeah.
I mean, same thing. A $2,000 car here is $500 there.
Yeah, I think there's something even more interesting happening in the enthusiast car regime right now, especially with things like Facebook Marketplace, and if you go even more higher, like go into like Bring a Trailer, where like you have all these classic examples of the cream of the crop vehicles with low miles going for astronomical prices. And I think that a lot of that's being driven by just people having time and money to like just blow on luxury items, like no matter how you slice it, a car is a luxury item. Just depends on what your definition of luxury is, right? That's why, like, I was listening to a Smoking Tire with the CEO of Bring a Trailer, and he was saying like right now during the pandemic, like even though obviously shit sucks everywhere, they've been doing the best. Like they've been doing more auctions than they've ever done, and they're having more like successful transactions than ever before. And they've like, I think they even like they got bought by Hearst recently, so like that's going for them, and like all these things where it's like all these windfalls are happening because people are just like, well, I'm bored and I'm kind of feeling down about this whole pandemic thing and like can't go out to a car show or so they're like, oh, I'll just buy a car or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I would buy a project car before I buy something on Bring a Trailer.
Well, I mean, that's what Bring a Trailer was when
it was that. Now it's just all these rare cars that shouldn't be. Well, I can't say shouldn't be driven, but somebody wouldn't want to half the time. I would say
garage queens. Can we use that term? Yeah, garage queens. Oh,
yep.
Steven's
and Steven was going to say something there.
Yeah, what you got, Steven?
I'm just
Sorry,
gonna
I
rock
interrupted
out
you.
now. No, I was thinking maybe in Europe. I'm not being serious, by the way. But maybe in Europe the used cars are cheaper because those pesky little hatchbacks only have 2 doors.
One can
Sorry, it's
only hope.
a veiled reference at the sons of beeps at Honda, for instance. Which one you pointed that out to me? Is that both of y'all? Is it Brent?
I think Brent said
Yep.
that one.
Yeah, guess what? They're killing the 2-door Civic. So no
Look.
2-door Civic SIs. We got that stupid like
Hey,
Blade Runner roach. It's like a Blade Runner vehicle combined with a actual insect roach is what the 4-door Civic looks like.
I was
Two-door
My
listening.
looks like
nemesis
two.
car.
I mean,
God, I hate that.
somebody else in my media consumption pointed out recently that like we should just be happy we have cars right now, because like that is the, while we are living the golden age of like muscle cars and GTs and whatnot, we are definitely in the end of the sedan coupe hatchback time. Like I think that like that is a very real like thought, and I think that's just too expensive for people. Have got to the point where they're like, I'll just buy a crossover. I'll just buy a sporty crossover if I want a sporty car. And it's like,
Eco Sport for the win. Hey, if that thing happens to my life, which I don't know if it will or not, do you think that because there might be that frozen stuff that falls from the sky involved with this relocation in terms of more of it, do you think that I should attempt to try to keep the Fiesta forever because it's like never going to happen again, that kind of car?
yeah,
If that thing happened, which we don't know, no one knows what I'm talking about, it's top secret. If that did
a life
happen,
change.
that's a life change.
Yeah.
The one aspect of it is domiciles, like nice ones, like Charlie, like the one you're renting, nice little house, right? At this place, like 200 feet from the employment place, $80,000, mint condition. And it's not like a crimey area. It's just the middle of nowhere. There's not a lot of jobs in town.
Low cost housing. It's nice.
The note with tax and insurance on a couple of them I looked at would be $650 a month.
I would buy 3 and just rent out the other 2.
Well, let's stop and think about this for a second, fellas. So my current house note is, I don't mind sharing this. It's not like it's weird or anything. It's like $1,160. Okay. So the difference between that and the new house, assuming let's say this one went away, if some life change happened, top secret thing, couldn't I just take the difference and put that into on top of the note to the Fiesta and say that's how cool of a car I can get and still have the same quality of life? Like, is it time for a 911, even though I trash them regularly, even though I love them?
You could definitely do that. You know what's even worse is for what we pay in rent is double what you just said.
Oh,
Yeah.
man.
Yep. Just think of the car that you could afford then.
I know.
Because I get half the time like ads from Aston Martin and so on. I think the last one I saw was Vantage for $1,700 a month, I believe. I'm like, man, that is actually doable. Kind of.
Jesus.
If I want to live in an Aston Martin.
This one little tiny domicile that may or may not happen if that thing happens that I may or may not do. It was like, like take your house, Charlie, but make it like 2 stories, like similar condition, like 1920s, 30s kind of house, and it has this little 1-car garage, I guess like you do, but the thing is the 1-car garage is like 25 feet from the house with this big flat grassy area between it and the house. And I'm just like, I could roll like $30,000 into the loan and build Garage Mahal.
A bit bigger than the house itself.
I have no idea what I'm going to do. Oh, okay. So GTI Ben Kenobi has solved everything. And frankly, he's freaking right. Brent, what did he say about high car prices? I asked him why used cars were so high.
He blames it on the new car prices.
So there's something there.
It goes back to my losing the point thing. I mean, like a Mustang is now starts at 50% higher in real dollars than they did in the 60s. I mean, cars are more expensive, even in real dollars.
Everything is.
Inflation.
everything.
Well, the key is in Reno is real dollars. This is real dollars, man. It's like incorporating inflation. It's pretty nuts, man.
Pay
It's a
for
pretty good answer, GTI.
workers, and you got everything else going up in price.
Yep.
There you go.
Yep.
I was at work today and several people were talking about the vacations they took or they're planning, and I'm like, disposable fucking income? What the fuck is that?
Yeah.
Okay, given first world fucking complaint there, I'm buying a 65 Ford Falcon and shipping it here and it's not breaking me, so I should be bitching. But damn.
You do have 1, 2, 4 cars? 5?
I don't know.
Oh, him.
Is there 4 cars?
Yeah, but how many of them are like,
I just
how many of them can you see the road beneath you when you're driving it?
Sure. And I just want to throw out there, I think you have 4 cars.
Jesus, you're right. I've got 4 cars.
Yeah, I mean, I technically still have 2, so.
I mean, I'm got 2 cars here. But
Yep.
GTI Ben Kenobi has observed that when he walks around an auto show, that like standard crossovers are like 40 grand. I mean, you can get strippers for less than that. That didn't sound right. You can get strippers that know about the Georgia squat. Oh God. Why do you guys let me have a microphone?
I don't know what the Georgia squad is, but I don't
Oh,
want to know.
is it the Carolina?
Carolina
Same
squad.
thing.
I mean,
I think on that note,
and on that note,
end this show.
Ben Franklin once said, "You can sleep in a race car, you can't race a house."
Exactly. That's why I said $1,700 isn't bad for an Aston Martin. I keep trying to push for it, but it just doesn't work.
Oh, so I'm host. I think I'm host.
Yeah, you're host.
Thank you for watching. Please like, comment, or subscribe, and click the bell icon for notifications. And there's something called Spotify that I don't know what that is, and because I can't confess to why I don't know what that is, because then I would be confessing something illicit I did 20 years ago that might have involved Napster. And what was the other one? Spotify. There's iTunes podcast.
You nailed it. There you go. Look at that, y'all.
iTunes.
And on live.
Now we're gonna get copyrighted. God damn.